Ooh, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 88 of the Stand Up Guys podcast, The Crazy 88. I'm your host, the incomparable Zach Jones, joined as always by my brother from the same mother, Lester Jones.
Hello, everybody.
That means I am out of brother.
Yeah.
I'll find some more eventually, maybe.
The Billy Bob to my Joe Bob.
And of course, we got the Ninth Wonder, Chocolate Thunder, living in sin and pushing that shit in. The pussy juice sipping, just the tipping, passing out dick like bullets from John Wick. The phenomenal A.J.
Every time I cringe.
Now, which part of that did you not like?
Pushing that shit in with your tongue.
It could be your dick as well.
That always reminds me of that one bit from Your Mom's House where he talks about eating that girl out by the pool. Like,
oh, yeah, that was awful.
you told me about it.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That was awful. Man, also like who's that female comedian? She's like blonde, attractive, and she goes to like a lot of the roasts. I don't know why I'm blanking on her name.
Amy Schumer?
No.
Eliza Scherzinger?
No.
Blonde?
Hope you weren't talking about Amy Schumer.
No.
She's not really. Yeah.
Anyway, she was talking about how like she likes anal sex, and like she was with a guy and like accidentally like shit on his dick a little bit.
Oh, Nikki Glazer.
Nikki Glazer,
I could tell by
yes.
the story. Yeah.
Yes.
So wait, she shit on his dick and then what happened? What, he like grossed out or what?
I don't think I don't think he like reacted terribly. Maybe just went and got in the shower.
Yeah, that's what I did when that happened to me. You can't really like be like, oh, gross. You just gotta be like, oh, it's okay. It's not a big deal. You don't want to embarrass the girl.
Yeah, the shower seems like if you're going to experiment, that's a good place.
Yeah.
You can squish the shit down the
Oh. She's just dropping logs. Like, geez, you didn't prepare for this at all.
Well, what do you guys watch?
Perfect segue.
Well, I watched Hill House and Bly Manor. I had a good time. Hill House I liked a little bit more.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. I like the whole series of it. I wish they had made more. I guess the writer Mike Flanagan.
That sounds right.
He wrote Midnight Mass after that, and he's been working on other projects since then. But I really like his work. I would definitely recommend Bly Manor and Hill House. Bly Manor was more of like a romantic story, but still kind of a scary story. Whereas Hill House was more of like a family dealing with like the trauma they experienced in a house and going back to it.
Yeah, it seemed like more straight up horror than the other one. Yeah. But the fact that they did like, I mean, they're anthology shows, but the fact that they already did two of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they did another haunting of something, you know?
Yeah, I could see them bring it back. And the characters, like, they brought them back for the second season, a lot of them at least. You know?
Yeah, a lot of them, yeah.
So I'm hoping that they could return if they do bring it back.
What about you there, Joe Bob?
Not much. I rewatched The Boys. I finished that, and then I've been rewatching some Mindhunter. That's about it.
Mindhunter.
You finished The Boys?
Well, I'd watched both seasons before, but I just rewatched it.
Did season 3 not come out yet? I thought
It's supposed to be this summer.
This summer
okay.
it comes out.
So I was kind of like getting fresh,
Okay,
getting ready.
gotcha. They introduced a new character, right, in the second season. Jensen Ackles. He's like Captain America, kind of.
Well, he's going to be in this third season.
Oh, he's gonna be in the third season.
You're
Okay.
right.
Oh, I was like, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
what
they
you're
haven't, not, he's coming in this
Okay.
next season.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that. I haven't seen season 2 yet, so I got to catch up on all of it.
Yeah. See if they have to kill off Superman.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Oh, you know, eventually it's got to come to that.
Yeah, he's going to be the main baddie at the end, right?
Now that he's gotten in legal trouble,
yeah,
they
he
might
did
kill him
that.
off sooner than they were planning.
That's what I was saying.
yeah.
Because of the assault, if they're like, well, we got to kill this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know.
He kind of looks like Bradley Cooper. They could just get Bradley Cooper to replace him.
Oh, yeah, they could, yeah. He'd cost a lot more, though. I heard. I think you told me.
Nobody can drink milk like he can.
I think you said that when they asked his co-stars who's most likely like their character, they said he
Yeah,
is.
apparently they said that guy.
Okay, yeah.
At least that's the story I heard.
Yeah. Well, he plays it well.
Well, speaking of the boys, I watched that boys diabolical
Oh yeah,
cartoon.
I don't know if I watched all of them. I watched some of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 8 of them, but they're only 15 minutes apiece, so you can watch all of them in like 2 hours.
I probably did watch them all.
They were entertaining enough, I thought. Some better than others, but certainly entertaining.
I don't know if I loved them, but I did like all the other characters, like all the losers and just randos.
Oh yeah, all the people with just like random superpowers.
Yeah.
Like the first cartoon on there is like done in like a Looney Tunes type of style, like the baby with the laser eyes.
But yeah, I don't know why. I just it didn't hit home.
Well, it's one of those things that is certainly not like necessary viewing, but it's entertaining enough if you want to kill a couple hours. I also finished season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. Not bad. You could tell they were definitely inspired by that movie Arrival with Amy Adams, because like.
I thought about watching that one because I know it did well, but I haven't seen it.
I saw it. I wasn't too impressed by it. It was okay.
Oh, the movie Arrival? I liked it. It is depressing, though. Like, I wouldn't want to watch it again just because of that. But, like, I think it's worth watching once.
Wait, are we talking about the same movie? Maybe I'm thinking about a different one. I'm thinking about the one where those aliens come to Earth and they have
With
those
the
like,
big
weird
head, and there's
hands.
Jack Nicholson.
No. Yeah, Mars Attacks.
And they have, like, the
hands,
the ink, and,
Yeah.
like, she deciphers their language.
Right. Okay,
Yeah, that's
so we
what-
are talking about. Okay.
So they do a similar thing in this one where they encounter an alien race that can't speak, and they, like, give off, like, pheromones and light patterns, and they put that together to figure out their language. So you could definitely tell, like, they were...
They want to fuck.
They're DTF, guys. Good news.
This is really random, but I remember like on a really early episode of this show, like I told you that I watched that, like on HBO Max, they had like that kind of like gritty reboot of Perry Mason, like miniseries.
Yeah.
You've talked about it.
And I liked it quite a bit. Well, like, so I was like looking through Paramount Plus to see like what other stuff they had to watch on there, and like I came across like the original Perry Mason black and white show, and I was like, maybe I'll give this a shot. So like I've watched a couple episodes of it, and it's not bad. Like you know, they're all like. I guess it's kind of like Law and Order in that each episode has both like kind of a murder mystery and like a courtroom drama combined into one. But I like it better than Law and Order because like it's a cooler time period. Like it's more like noirish, I guess. And I it's enjoyable. I was telling you though, I looked like how many episodes there are. Well, not in total, but like. I think it said there was like 7 seasons, but like just season 1 alone had like 39 episodes. I was like, holy shit, this is what they consider a season back in the day?
They were pumping them out.
They would consider that like 2 seasons and then some.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Jesus.
I mean, how do you keep up the quality when you're making 39 episodes?
Maybe they don't. Maybe it just goes off the rails. First couple were decent though. And then, speaking of murder mysteries, just last night I watched Death on the Nile, which is on Hulu.
Is that with The Rock in it, or is that somebody?
No.
There was like a Nile movie with The Rock. Though,
Yeah,
wasn't
like
there?
Jungle Book or something. Maybe I'm thinking about a different.
Oh, you're thinking of Jungle Cruise.
Jungle
Jungle
Cruise.
Cruise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I watched that like last year. It's fine.
Okay.
It's like a not as good Pirates of the Caribbean ripoff. This movie, like, it's a murder mystery that takes place on like a yacht that's going down the Nile, basically. All these like rich people, and like it's fine. Like I don't think the central mystery was all that compelling. Like it was one of those things where like in my head, like right at the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, I bet this person did it or whatever, you know. And then as the movie goes along, they do throw you like a lot of red herrings, and like I was like, oh, I could see him going this way, but in the end, it was like, no, my first instinct was exactly on the money, you know. But it's fine. Like you can totally watch it.
I ruined the entire thing for myself.
Oh, you forgot to tell everybody what happened to your truck.
Oh yeah, some asshole smashed my windshield. Just another day working downtown. So yeah, that's gonna cost me $270.
Yeah, that sucks. Do you think they just threw something at it, or did they actually like hit it with something?
I think maybe they hit it because I like looked around for like a rock or something and I couldn't find anything.
Were there other vehicles busted up?
Not that I've heard of. But I worked late, so mine was one of the only cars out there in the evening. So
Was that the day you actually worked late, or a different day?
the day I worked late, yeah. So I made an extra $100 that day.
Now you get to pay $270 for a fucking new window. Well, if we guys don't have anything else, should we get on with the show?
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Well, for anyone who hasn't watched or listened, we're just going to go around the table here, bring some wacky news stories to the table, and see if we can't make something funny or entertaining out of it. And AJ, as tradition dictates, we usually start with you. So what do you got for us this week?
All right. Man stabbed girlfriend in the butt because they couldn't agree on where to buy the pizza.
That seems fair.
A judge told the man it would almost be funny if it wasn't so serious, as he jailed him for stabbing his girlfriend in a row over pizza. Nathaniel Williams, 29, got into an argument with his girlfriend about where to buy their food. He wanted Pizza Hut. She wanted Pizza Choice. Both sound terrible.
I'm sure they both were awful.
Yeah.
I don't mind Pizza Hut, but Pizza Choice sounds like a knockoff.
Sounds almost like a frozen
Pizza
pizza.
choice. Pizza choice, you bitch.
You Pizza Choice loving whore. At some point, she
Can't
went.
respect a woman who loves pizza choice.
You can enjoy your Pizza Choice in hell.
At some point, she went to the kitchen to get a drink, and as her back was turned, she felt a small prick in her backside. She felt blood on her hand, and when she turned around, Williams was
I like this writer.
Williams became hysterical, repeatedly saying sorry at their home in Cardiff. He convinced her not to go to the hospital as police would become involved. However, one of the victim's friends came around later and, after seeing what happened, took her to the hospital. He was later arrested and told to stay away from her. However, on December 4th, the victim woke up in the middle of the night and he was standing at the foot of her bed. He refused to leave her house, so she went to her parents and he followed her. After being arrested, he managed to break free from the handcuffs and attacked PC Sari Barnes. I don't know who that is. Recorder John Philpotts said, if it wasn't so serious, it would almost be funny that you were arguing over where to buy pizza, and that led to the young woman being stabbed. You inflicted upon her a nasty wound with a knife, and knives are always serious, potentially deadly weapons. Williams was jailed for a year and must not contact his victim for 5 years. I mean, dang. Besides the butt stabbing, it got serious, like real serious. He was standing at the foot of her bed later. The butt stabbing I thought was, spur of the moment thing. You get angry, it happens. I mean, if you're bringing Pizza Choice to the table, be prepared for violence, folks.
Jan, I submit to evidence this sloppy ass pizza from Pizza Choice.
They should bring both pizzas to the judge and be like, obviously she was asking.
Taste this.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, look at these pizzas side by side. You can clearly see what's not the right choice. Pizza Choice.
She was assaulting his taste buds with this pizza. He simply defended himself.
Pizza Hut should endorse this guy.
Yeah.
Make him
Yeah, he went to bat for them. He's got their full support.
Oh, should we check out what's in Manifesto, round one?
All right, here's an interesting one. Texas dad admits the skeleton in his kitchen is son who died in 2018.
So he turned into a skeleton that fast?
That's 4 years. But it sounds like the guy died in the kitchen and his dad just left him there for 4 years. So he had to have gone like through decomposition just like sitting there.
Yeah.
And so like eventually a neighbor called him in. But you figured the decomposition phase is where you'd be like, maybe someone might check this out, right?
Right.
So the dude's like a skeleton in there, and the neighbor calls him in. Police come, knock on the door, whatever. He opens it. And they're like, "You know why we're here?" And he's like, "Yeah, probably like the corpse in the kitchen." And sure enough, there he was.
I mean, can he get in trouble for that? I mean, his son died. He probably just grieved in a weird way.
He's being charged with something weird like desecration of a corpse or something.
I mean, I can't pretend to even know, like, losing your child like that. I imagine it drives you somewhat, like, unhinged or something.
Yeah.
So,
It's just crazy that it took 4 years.
yeah. I kind of hope he doesn't get in trouble because it just seems like it was his coping mechanism. Maybe
It
keeping
could have
him
been.
around.
Can they prove that it was natural causes and he didn't kill his son?
Well,
Right.
I assume they're going to perform whatever tests they can, but I don't know what you get after that amount of time.
Skeleton, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a very bizarre that he would do that.
Yeah.
But you would think like
Like if I was a neighbor, I would have called like
a long time before that.
Yeah.
Like, because it would have been stinking for years, right?
you do it, smelled it outside. I'm sure.
So, yeah, I don't understand why they waited that long. Unless, like, it was like a new neighbor that moved into the neighborhood and they're like, fuck, it stinks around here.
Well, I mean, after 4 years, it probably didn't stink anymore.
So then what caused the neighbor to call?
Like I don't know how they knew about it.
I don't know.
Maybe he was like very casual about it. There's my son.
I bet you that,
They just looked in the window. He's sitting there like drinking a cup of tea with him
Yeah.
or something.
even though it's been 4 years, though, I bet you that house fucking reeks.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't know if that comes out.
I don't think so.
No, it's stained.
Was that it on that one?
Yeah.
I don't want to like seem like I'm defending the father because he might have murdered that son. Now that I think about it, but if it was a coping mechanism, then I feel like he should be okay.
Well, this is. You like beer on tap? Here you go. The first known case of human who urinates alcohol reported. This story is actually from 2020.
Here we go.
A Pittsburgh woman has become the first documented case in a human of an untypical condition where alcohol naturally infuses in the bladder from yeast fermentation. The condition, which experts propose to call either urinary auto-brewery syndrome or bladder fermentation syndrome, is similar to another super rare ailment. Auto-brewery syndrome, where merely consuming carbohydrates can be enough to make you intoxicated, even without ingesting any alcohol via ordinary means. In the most recent case, physicians became aware of what appears to be a related syndrome after treating a 61-year-old patient who had poorly maintained diabetes and liver damage. The woman frequented UPMC Shadyside for placement on a wait list for a liver transplant, with physicians having previously suspected her issues stemmed from addiction to alcohol. As a result of repeated urine tests testing positive for alcohol, initially, our encounters were similar, leading our clinicians to believe that she was hiding an alcohol use disorder, explained in a new case report by her doctors. However, we noted that plasma test results for ethanol and urine test results for ethyl glycerinide and ethyl sulfate, which are the metabolites of ethanol, were negative, whereas urine test results for ethanol were positive. Moreover, in addition to consistently refuting having drunk alcohol, the woman did not seem to display signs of inebriation during trips to the clinic. The experience we describe here of two liver transplant teams at different institutions demonstrates how easy it is to overlook signals that urinary autobrewery syndrome may be present, say the doctors. Clinicians must be diligent about paying close attention to medical record documentation and laboratory results and should always investigate the events of incongruencies.
Alcoholic urine, like some people could create like a life cycle off of that.
Yes. Glug, 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 to fill, glug, glug, glug.
I also gross myself out because I'm sure that could become a porn category. Getting drunk off of woman's piss.
I mean, there's some people that just drink piss.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Fill her up. Keep them coming.
There's some people that claim that it's good for you. Piss therapy or urine therapy, they call it, and they drink their own piss.
Got a nice head on that one.
It would be like if you had that condition where just eating carbs made you drunk, I'd be drunk all the time.
It's weird that it's called auto brewery.
yeah.
I'm assuming that's just you get some kind of yeast in your system, and
In their bladders, I guess.
so in theory you could transplant that.
Very
For
strange.
free.
Very strange condition. Apparently, yeah, very rare. All right, AJ, story number 2.
All right. Lab-grown lion meat could be set for tables at UK restaurants. Lion meat could be for sale in the UK, as well as the whole menagerie of other exotic meats that haven't actually come from animals. This is certainly a wild creation. It probably raises more questions than it answers with regards to whether we should be eating meat and where that meat comes from. Basically, this meat is cultivated and has been pitched by food technology startup Primeval Foods. It's not just lion meat, but tiger, elephant, giraffe, and even sushi made from zebra that could end up in restaurants in the products managed to pass food regulatory checks.
Nice.
The argument is that the lab-grown meat is more climate-friendly than plant-based meat alternatives. However, even telling a vegan that no animal was technically killed to make their tea might be a hard sell when you're trying to get them into a dripping safari burger. The stuff about no animal death happening is true, though. Cultivating meat is a method of production that allows companies to make food without slaughtering animals. They just grow the necessary animal cells directly, allowing them the chance to replicate all the nutritional profiles and sensory experiences of eating meat. The overarching idea is that it removes farm animals and therefore saves on land, water, and greenhouse emissions while protecting habitats that could otherwise be destroyed for farming and grazing animals. Furthermore, it stops pollution from fertilizer and stops the overuse of antibiotics that is prevalent in farming animals. Those theories have also proven, or haven't been proven just yet, because clearly we're not all eating it. That doesn't mean that it's not a decent idea, though. A study suggests that the cultivated stuff uses between 7 and 45% less energy, as well as producing 78 to 96% less greenhouse gas. Land use is, as you'd imagine, down by 99%, while water use is down by 82 and 96%. It can be scaled up to meet needs. That's really significant. So why lion meat, though? Well, Yilmaz Bora, the managing partner at Ace Ventures, which owns Primeval Foods, hopes more exotic fare might offer something a bit different to get people through the door initially. He explained people are constantly seeking to discover new foods, new restaurants, new culinary experiences, but the traditional species have reached their limitation on meeting this demand. It goes beyond the current beef, chicken, and pork dishes, and it has come out without the expense of nature. He continued, in the coming months, we are planning to have a tasting event in London with one of our cultivated exotic meats to have the world taste what the next chapter of food will look like. It could be made to work. It's definitely worth a try. Yeah, I mean, that's great. If we could make like sustainable ways of feeding everybody, that's amazing.
I always wanted to eat an elephant.
Yeah, man. I mean, elephant food. That does not sound good to me.
I bet like elephants were good because we killed mammoths to extinction. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's because we were like starving and didn't have anything back then.
Well,
They were large targets, like could feed people
it's
for
a
a long
big
time.
target, and you're gonna feed a lot of bellies.
I mean, sounds good to me. Yeah.
All right, manifesto round 2.
Former Yale administrator stole $40 million pretending to buy computer equipment for the university. So she'd buy computers and tablets, and she was allowed to buy. She could make any purchase under $10,000 basically without overview. So she'd make these small purchases, and she'd resell all the equipment and have that money transferred to her account. But yeah, $40 million, and she was buying all these like fancy cars and going on extravagant trips but yeah.
So what was her title?
She was like in charge of purchasing.
So she probably wasn't like making that much money, right? Like she's probably like 100,000.
I mean, if you're in charge of a budget that big, I would think, yeah, at least 100,000.
Yeah. So 40 million like kind of stands out. Like people are gonna notice you getting $40 million.
It took a while, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you said she was buying all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, I said she had like a bunch of nice cars. She had a Dodge Charger. I think I said a Land Rover. A couple others. And yeah, living it up.
I mean, that's bold. I don't have the nerve to do that.
I mean, if I was stealing that much money, I'd put it in crypto because that way they can't seize it.
Yeah.
And then like you do your jail time and you're still rich.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
But no, she had, I think they said like 3 properties and just all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to a podcast about crypto, and they said like one of the biggest misconceptions is like, you know, the government can't track your money. But they're like, that's not true. Because of the blockchain, they can actually very accurately like trace crypto back to people.
Well, every account is 100% traceable, but there are these businesses. So if you have a Bitcoin account, and basically it'll wash the money for you because you send them the money, they scramble it over like 1,000 different accounts and filter it back to a different account that's clean. So yeah, it's not a big deal.
Lost my story here. Was there anything else on that one?
No.
Well, we can only hope to die doing what we love. Guy dies after competing in an amateur taco eating contest.
Oh, I'd love to die that way.
Wait, you were thinking about taking a super spicy burrito
I
challenge?
thought I did want to do that for
Were
the
you afraid of dying?
podcast. I talked out of it. I realized I'm an idiot. Maybe I shouldn't try such things.
Hey,
should
but
try
we
it.
could tape it for the YouTube channel.
I mean, I'm not against. I love spicy foods, but I know it's gonna kick my butt. But I'm down. I'm down. Let's try it. I think we should all do it.
Oh, I definitely
yeah. I'd be all fucked up.
could. I couldn't even begin to eat something like that.
If I eat like a jalapeno, I get hiccups so bad I can't like.
I'm the same way. Like, I get hiccups, like, immediately.
I can drink Tabasco sauce, but I mean, beyond that, like when it gets really spicy, then I'm just like anybody else.
This isn't a current story. It actually happened in 2019, but it's new to me. Calamity struck last night at the ballpark when the man conducting a taco eating championship abruptly choked and died. Dana Andrew Hutchings, the Grizzlies have since canceled a Saturday scheduled professional taco eating championship. The remainder of the taco truck throwdown event this weekend will go on as slated. Dana Andrew Hutchings adored sports and having fun. Thereby, a taco eating contest in the heights of a Fresno Grizzlies game appeared like an ideal combo for him. Those tacos would be his final meal. He apparently began to choke, so Fresno Grizzlies medical staff rushed over, started to give him first aid, and then turned him over to the American ambulance, stated Tony Body with the coroner's office and Fresno County Sheriff's. Paramedics attempted to clear food out of Hutchings' airway, however, he perished less than 30 minutes later. He said he was going to enter a taco eating contest and has been not eating all day to make himself a winner, noted Eric Schmidt, a fellow fan. When the contest arrived up on the Jumbotron, Hutchings' strategy of delaying eating until the contest seemed to work at first. He was winning, Schmidt claimed. I mean, he was hungry, you could tell. My son and I were standing there like, oh, there's the guy, and he was winning because he was starving. However, then he ceased eating, Schmidt witnessed him try to chew a bit more, and then a large video screen went dark. He desperately watched paramedics working on Hutchings and caught wind later that they could not save him. The deceased medical history will be part of the county coroner's probe. Everybody's saying he was choking on food, so we have that as a starting point, Body said.
There's a guy named Tony Body working at the coroner's office. That's weird.
But it's spelled B-O-T-T-I.
Oh, okay. Man, like you would think with all the medical help there that he would have been okay, but
Or at least had a better chance than most, yeah.
I guess the Heimlich doesn't work 100% of the time. Jeez.
So many tacos.
Yeah, it does make you wonder how many tacos he had just put in his mouth before that happened. Like,
Yeah.
they must have all gotten stuck at the same time.
Yeah, after like successful CPR, you usually puke, so that'd be a big.
Yeah.
Big old pile. That's what you need a dog for.
Dang, man, like that sucks. Like you're excited about eating
Yeah.
tacos. They're delicious.
This is the greatest day of my life.
Yeah, and then boom, God's like, "Oh, you like tacos? You can choke on 'em." Boy, that sucks though. I don't know.
Man, you know what that story reminds me of? Are you talking about that? It's like, so we used to have this dog, Jake, growing up, black lab. And like, next door, there was these neighbors had a boxer, and they definitely did not feed that dog enough. Like, its ribs were always poking out, and so we take pity on it a lot and feed it. But like, one day, like, my mom fed Jake, like a bunch of, like, macaroni and cheese. And, like, I don't know if this was on accidents or if he was actually, like, being kind, but he pukes up this huge pile of macaroni and cheese, and then him and that other dog, like, split it.
Lady in the Tramp.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah.
It was always one of those things where I'm like, was this completely by accident, or is he, like...
I think it's on purpose.
It could be, man.
Because bats do the same thing. Like, I think it's blood-sucking bats that I heard recently do this, where if one is really full and, like, in the past, if it recognizes that, hey, that bat once helped me, it'll go and help that bat and regurgitate it, and it'll give them the food. They'll put it into their mouths.
Interesting.
Wasn't there another time that I think the same dog like ate a bunch of spaghetti, and like Dad was playing with him on the floor, and he just like puked a big steaming pile like right next to his
That happened too.
spaghetti and goulash.
I remember another time they fed him a bunch of cabbage.
Oh,
And I don't know, they're like, didn't want it to go to waste or something, but he eats it, and then it was just funny because I've never seen this amount of puke. Like, he was by the couch, I swear to God, like, he puked the full length of the couch, like this huge, the biggest pile of dog puke I've ever seen in my life. Like,
You
just
were
like
just
this green
walking and
puke.
puking.
Yes. It wasn't like all in one spot. It was like he was trying to go to the door, but he was like puking along the way.
but
I was laughing.
he wasn't like revving up to it like how dogs do, like.
That part I don't remember. If he was, like, nobody made it to the door in time, because that dog puked the biggest fucking pile of cabbage, man.
Oh man,
It was hilarious.
cabbage.
Pizza dog cabbage.
It was a bad idea, apparently. Well, you know, Dad, he, like, loves corned beef and cabbage. And I don't know, I guess they just had leftovers or something. They're like, we'll see if the dog will eat it.
Yeah, Dad doesn't get his fill of crap like that. He was probably shitting his pants the whole day. Just like unbelievable.
That is the one funny thing is, like, I think it was cabbage would, like, always make my dad, like, just get violent diarrhea. But he'd, like, always eat it. He's like, it's so good, I can't not eat it.
Cabbage?
He loves it,
I
man.
get why lactose intolerant people love like lactose,
Right.
but cabbage is one of those foods that I could easily avoid.
Man, my dad, like, for many years, like, had to drive, like, 81 miles one way to work. So he just had all these stories about, like, having to emergency shit along the road.
I hope there were a lot of trees and stuff around. I bet there were.
Yeah, there would have been.
Okay. You can't just go out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I'm sure he made it as far as he could. Might have just went on the other side of the, like, passenger side of the door. I don't know.
People are like, hey, this truck's stuck out here. Can you need any help? Oh, the guy shitting.
But yeah, throughout the years, he had many poop stories.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can see that. 81 miles, you got to stop, pee, and poop. I mean, I would probably try to poop before I left the house.
He said he went to take a shit and he shit on his suspenders.
Oh.
Man, I worked with the Polly who's homeless for a while, and she said she'd sleep by this tennis court in the evening. Like one day, she woke up and there's just a guy like in a full suit taking a shit out there. Like like, that has to be an emergency.
Dang. I mean, I wonder how they're wiping.
Yeah, I
that
was
guy
like,
with his tie.
I was like, he didn't show up with a tie for work that day. Their socks are cheaper or something.
His undershirt is gone or something.
Oh,
My dad's one of those guys that always carries like a hanky on him and he blows his nose into it. But he said he's lost a few of those over the years.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, he'd come back missing sleeves or something.
Or you just take off your underwear and wipe with them.
Yeah.
All right, that was that was my story. AJ, you got something for us?
All right. Let's see here. Yeah. Chinese researchers are creating robot nannies to nurture babies in artificial wombs.
And then they have a picture of like a skeleton Terminator.
Yeah, this thing was horrifying.
Well, that's what it's going to lead to.
Researchers in China have developed a robotic artificial intelligence system to care for embryos as they grow in artificial wombs. According to The Independent, the robotic nanny is already nurturing several animal fetuses. The researchers who published their findings in the Journal of Biomedical Engineering said they intend to develop technology that could enable parents to grow a baby in a lab, eliminating the need for women to fall pregnant themselves. They said the robot intends to optimize and improve the system for in vitro embryo culture, while also adding that they wanted to create an online monitoring system designed for long-term culture of embryos. According to the research, the system also allows embryos to be nurtured more effectively than a natural womb. The report also added that there are still many unsolved mysteries about the physiology of typical human embryonic development. Creating such technology would also help understand the origin of life and embryonic development of humans while providing answers for solving congenital disabilities and other significant reproductive health problems. In 2019, Associate Professor of Law Neera Bhatia and bioethicist and public health researcher Evie Kendall wrote in their article for The Conversation, artificial wombs could aid premature babies. They wrote, currently those born earlier than 22 weeks gestation have little to no hope of survival, and those born at 23 weeks are likely to suffer a range of disabilities. Using a sealed biobag, which mimics the maternal womb, might help extremely premature babies survive and improve their quality of life. They also mention an experiment where a group of neonatologists successfully grew lamb fetuses in an artificial womb for 4 weeks in 2017. Previous attempts to grow fetuses were successful, but only for a few hours. However, the doctors at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia could support the lamb fetuses for 28 days. The system used to support the lamb fetuses resembled a vast Ziploc bag filled with amniotic fluid. Director of the Center for Fetal Research, Dr. Alan Flake, told Huffington Post at the time, if our system is as successful as we think it can be, ultimately the majority of pregnancies predicted at risk for extreme prematurity would be delivered into a system that keeps them immersed rather than being delivered into a ventilator or onto a ventilator. So there you have it. Soon you'll be able to pair an AI nanny with the simulated wombs. The future is closer than you think.
I feel like China is just going to have like fields of matrix pods where they grow their clone army to take over the world.
Yeah, I think China's doing stuff that we are still like ethically like talking about, having the conversation about, and they're like, let's just do it. So I don't know what that's going to lead to. That could be a totally negative thing if you mess up, but I don't know. Maybe they'll have an edge.
Well, I mean, obviously, even after you start doing it, you're going to need like 20 years to see what people are turning out like. So, but I guess, well, I've been hearing that they're anticipating that we're going to have a population collapse because even after they've released like the one-child policy in China, it's become like a norm, and most people aren't having more than one kid, and so they're figuring it's just going to we're going to have a crash.
Yeah, it might be a good thing. I mean,
it's hard to say because you're going to have a very large population of old people and a very small population of young people. And a lot of the burden for older people frequently does go on, the younger generation, and it could be a big problem. So we'll see, I guess. I don't know.
I was wondering, like, what effect does the economy have on that? Like, when the economy is bad, well, you can't say that because, like, the baby boom generation kind of came out of a shitty economy, didn't they?
Yeah, and even like, well, I mean, 100 years ago, you know, when everyone's poor and your children have a high probability of dying, people would have like 10, 12 kids.
Yeah, that's true.
And you'd still see that in like Africa. And kind of one of Bill Gates' things about, you know, spreading widespread vaccinations is when people, you know that their children are probably going to live, that they have a lot less kids. But yeah, I don't know.
I wonder what the stats are in America, though, because we've been kind of on this trend where the middle class is kind of eroding, and it doesn't make you really want to have kids.
Well, that's another thing, is a lot of people are waiting later and having fewer kids. Like, a lot of people won't have kids until they're 30 or higher. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where that'll go. Anything else?
Whose was that one? That was his.
Oh yeah, that was his. What do you got for us?
Okay, so I don't think I ever heard this story, but so a man who buried school bus full of children for $5 million ransom approved for parole. Now, this is a case that happened in the 70s.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Where like he like hijacked a bus full of children and like apparently buried the entire thing, and he was trying to get $5 million out of it. And I guess it said like after like 16 hours the kids had been able to tunnel out or something. And he's been in prison since then, but it sounds like he might be coming out for parole. But I was like, this is a crazy story. You buried an entire bus.
Where was this at?
I believe it was near San Francisco.
It was in America, though.
Yeah, California.
Because I know there's some countries that are much more forgiving than we are. Like, because I heard a story, like, I think it was in Canada a long time ago. Like, there was this guy on I think it was like a public bus, and he just like went fucking crazy, killed this other guy on the bus. And I want to say like
Cut his head off.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then I think he eventually got out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like, they're probably like, well, he was mentally ill. He went to a mentally ill hospital or something for years, and we think he's. It's like, I don't know. If somebody does something that violent, why would you take the chance?
The risk to society is too great.
I would think so. I mean, there's got to be a limit where you're just like, if somebody goes off the handle that much, yeah, lock them away forever. Why take the risk of letting them kill someone else? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got out. Like, you decapitate somebody, you should probably go to prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah, even if you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's, yeah.
I don't know I gotta look that up after this because I'm gonna try to figure out why they let him go. Like, doesn't make sense to me.
But yeah, I never heard of this school bus guy.
Yeah, I was like, this is a story I would think that at some point in my life I would have heard.
You would think so. It's a pretty crazy story for someone to bury a school bus.
Yeah.
For, hold it ransom.
Yeah, I mean, the days before cell phones and YouTube and internet, like, God only knows all the interesting stuff we've missed out on that's happened in the past, like the craziest shit that's ever happened.
Although, these days it's the opposite thing where so much crazy shit happens every day that eventually even crazy stories get lost.
Oh, yeah. That's true. There's so much of it. Yeah.
Right. Like, think of all the crazy shit we've covered on this show.
Yeah.
And, like, eventually you cover enough of those and you're like, I'm sure you could tell us a crazy story we covered on, another podcast and it'd be new to me, just because there's, like, so much.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything else on that one?
No.
Man who wanted to escape family has lived in an airport for 14 years.
I had the story too, yeah.
Read that again?
A man who wanted to escape his family has lived in an airport for 14 years.
This guy's funny.
Airports have long been seen as the gateway for escape, to get away from the day-to-day life and explore the world beyond. Well, one lad took the term escape a little too far after venturing to Beijing Capital International Airport 14 years ago and never returned. Wei Jianguo, A Chinese man in his 60s has lived at the airport terminal 2 since 2008. His reason for leaving? He wants to smoke and drink without his family bothering him. We've all been there. Family bothering you to no end.
Tax-free booze, huh?
Craving a holiday away for a bit of freedom. But most of us come home eventually. However, Wei has decided that he's never going to be ready for that holiday to end. He told China Daily, I can't go back home because I have no freedom there. My family told me if I wanted to stay, I had to quit smoking and drinking. If I couldn't do that, I had to give them all my monthly government allowance of 1,000 won, AU $200. But then how would I buy my cigarettes and alcohol?
Oh, come on.
Wei has also decided to give up on looking for work after he was laid off in his 40s and struggled to keep a new job because of being too old. Surprisingly, he doesn't have the longest tenure of living at an airport either. Turkish man Bayram Tepeli moved to Ataturk Airport in 1991 for similar reasons to that of Wei's and lived there for 27 years before an airport closed.
Is this just an idea that people get?
I guess so. He now lives in Sabiha Gakhan Airport. According to Daily Sabah, Tepeli left his hometown of Gemlik due to family problems before flying to Istanbul to find work. He looked to find a new job at the airport after following directions for his boss. He worked for a short time and has lived ever since. He told Daily Sabah, my former boss told me one day that he found me a job where I wouldn't need to find a place to stay anymore. Then I came here. After suffering from health problems, he was forced to quit the job at the airport, but decided to continue making the terminal his home. Back in Beijing, Wei is often subject to police and security clear out where they drive him back to his home in Beijing. However, he says he always finds his way back. He said, I get expelled, lay low, and then I come back just like old times. At least I have my freedom in the airport. So, like, are these guys just attracted to the airport because it's like a place that never closes? And,
I mean, I guess, yeah, it never does this.
Yeah, I guess you're kind of safe there, you know? I don't, how does an airport allow this? I would think an airport would kick you out immediately. Like, no, you're on a flight, you've been sitting here, you're suspicious, like.
Well, I mean, you always have those people at the airport, though. Who are like, their flight's delayed, they're crashed out.
Yeah.
Like.
But then, so showers?
Some of them have showers.
Oh.
I used a shower when my kid puked on me one time.
Oh, okay.
he's just like taking horse baths in the bathroom.
Yeah.
No, it was a proper shower. It was like a family.
No, but this
bathroom.
guy,
Yeah.
he's like washing his balls in the sink.
He's like, gotta
Just
get the
a
ass.
minute.
Get the crack.
The reasoning's just so funny, though. Like, my fucking family is giving me grief about my smoking and drinking. Fuck, I'm all living in the airport.
So he lives rent free and he just spends his government check on booze and cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a living.
Not a very good one, but
Oh, he's free at least.
Yeah, I mean.
freedom. I mean, what must his family think of him? Like, they can't even want him to come back at this point.
How do you explain that to people? Like, where's your dad? It's like, he'd rather live at the airport.
That's the other thing I wonder. Like, did his family, like, know he lived at the airport? Or were they just like, oh, he left and he's been gone?
We went out for cigarettes.
Yeah, he literally went out for cigarettes and never came back. Oh, man. AJ, I guess I'll pass it back to you then.
All right. This is my last story that I have here, so let's make it count. It's a kind of a lighthearted one. A sheikh who holds the world record for biggest collection of 4x4 cars has now built the planet's biggest Hummer. The 46-foot by 20-foot wide and 21.6 foot tall monster truck dwarfs ordinary Hummers and looks ridiculously large in comparison. The gas-guzzling giant will run on 4 diesel engines and has a toilet and sink in the first of the 2 floors. Car Sheikh Hamad bin Hamdan Al Nahyan from United Arab Emirates commissioned the vehicle for his Sharjah Off-Road History Museum. The Sheikh, a billionaire member of the Emirati royal family, boasts the Guinness World Record with a collection of 718 4x4 models, meaning if he drove one a day, it would take him nearly 2 years to drive them all.
Thanks for that
I
complicated
know.
math.
Why'd they have to tell us that? His latest ride, the so-called Hummer H1 X3, was driven to the museum on public roads to the astonishment of locals. Built on the frame of U.S. Army Lark LX steel-hulled amphibious cargo vehicle, it's capable of a top speed of 32 kilometers per hour. I'm just telling the story again. Yeah, here's pictures of it. That's... You guys can't see it at home, but
It's
man,
a big Hummer.
This is massive. Like you can fit a normal,
real humdinger, if you will.
you can fit a normal one underneath it. So this thing's out of control. But yeah, it's just nuts, man.
Some people really do have too much money.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Jeff Bezos. He had like 100-year-old bridge taken down so his yacht could fit like in some other country somewhere. Like, that's crazy, man. These people they just have too much money. That's the problem.
It really, yeah. Yeah, like if one of the rulers of your country had shit like that, wouldn't you be so pissed?
Yeah.
You're all poor and shit, and they're fucking driving over top of you in some custom-made Hummer monster truck.
That kind of
I
reminds
can get
me.
over the protesters with no problem in this baby.
You're like,
I don't even feel them.
Right, let them eat cake. That kind of reminds me of this bill that was passed or recently passed in New York, like a spending bill on a football stadium for $850 million for the Buffalo Bills. And they cut like family services and services for like underprivileged people for $800 million. So an extra $50 million is going towards the stadium. And they cut this money from like, feeding people and stuff like that. It's just nuts, man, our priorities. I mean, the money's just not going to the right place. And there's a few examples of it right there.
Oh, hey, you know what we never talked about? The slap heard round the world. Will Smith, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
That was pretty nuts.
That was weird, man.
He's got something rotten going on in his life, man.
Well, you know what it is? This is his wife.
It is.
She's been like torturing him. Like,
Yeah, she's got to be a toxic dump.
yeah.
She's an odd person, man.
Yeah. I think he's just.
He seems broken. Man.
Yeah, he's broken. He has to get past this.
Well, and she like openly like cheats on him. Yeah. Like she has like a boyfriend on the side, and like that's their arrangement, I guess.
Yeah. And she like talks about cheating on him in front of him like it's nothing. Like, he's obviously like hurt by it, and she'll be like, yeah, I just needed something, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, I don't get their relationship at all.
The thing is, he could have like any
Anybody.
woman, yeah.
Well, I've heard some people speculating that he's secretly gay, but I don't know how they come up with that.
If you're gay, you just be like, okay, I got my baby's mama and kid and whatever, and I can live with this. But no, he's fucked up.
Yeah, like he's out there trying to win her back and stuff. You can tell. Like,
at the same time, like it surprised me, like how many people are on Will Smith's side on this.
Oh no!
Listen, because like I get to like standing up for your woman thing, but anybody who thinks this was okay
warranted,
is insane.
Yeah. No, the joke was such a softball. It wasn't anything too mean, or it didn't cut hard, I thought, but it pissed him off for some reason. I think he was already pissed.
Yeah, and I even heard, like, Chris Rock didn't even write that joke. Like, because, all these presenters have, like, writers. So, like, he just repeated a joke that literally someone else wrote, and it got him fucking slapped.
Yeah. He took it like a G, though. Like,
He's like, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of him.
like, he didn't, like, really look like he was hurt too badly.
I think he was just, like, shocked.
Yeah,
by
he
it.
was shocked for sure.
Like, he was, like, didn't know what to say.
He's definitely been slapped before, though. I would say that. He's like, well, I got slapped.
Will Smith had to make a long walk up there, too. Like, he had to get up from his chair and, like, walk. He was like, oh, Will Smith's coming up here.
Well, the weird thing, like, I wasn't watching it live, but it was weird because, like, when he made the joke, it seemed like at first
was
like
laughing.
they were laughing.
Yeah.
And then like it cut to her, and then all of a sudden she was like all like serious. So it's like he must have saw her face and been like, "Oh, we aren't supposed to laugh at this."
Yeah. But yeah, no, not good.
I mean, there is kind of a hypocrisy. Like somebody gets assaulted on a stage in a major award show, and nobody does anything about it because both people are famous, and they don't, really want to make it that serious of a situation.
I mean, oh, someone's at it. But I mean, who wants to go like tell Will Smith that he has to like leave the building?
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever?
true. Yeah.
Like, and plus, like, yeah, like if I was even like someone in charge of them, like I don't know what I would have said.
Yeah. Yeah, you're on the spot. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like. What an awkward situation, man. So bizarre. But like, yeah, like anyone who like takes Will Smith's side on that, like you're basically saying that it'd be okay if you went to a comedy club and you were offended by a joke to go up and like slap the comedian. You know,
Right.
it's just an insane that so many people are like taking up for him and like taking his side. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy.
I think it's just like all the shit talking that he's had like in the past few years. People just feel empathy for him, like he just had this outburst that was bound to happen because he's been, shit on by his wife, and then all these other celebrities, like 50 Cent, talk shit about him, and other people are like, oh, he's a cuck, he's this, he's that.
Yeah.
I would never go through that, like I think it just adds up and it weighed on him.
Yeah, like their family is bizarre. Like I would like to know like the backstory on all that.
Yeah, I think you can make a show out of that family. Yeah, you could definitely make a reality show, and you wouldn't have to script it at all. I think it'd be very interesting.
Probably.
Man, I saw this clip when Will Smith was younger. He was on a talk show. I want to say it might have been Letterman.
Yeah,
but he was making fun of one of the
musicians,
band members
yeah.
because he was bald, and it was apparently because he had alopecia. and then he was like, "Oh, it's just a joke."
Just a joke. Because the crowd was like, "Oh." Come on, Will.
Yeah, that was bad.
That guy, if he's still alive, should track Will Smith down and slap him.
Slap the shit out
Keep
of him.
my name out of your fucking mouth.
Man, I guess like he's not getting sued because Chris Rock doesn't want to deal with it or something. But I heard like Chris Rock's touring tickets went from like $50 to like $400.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are coming out to see him now. They're supporting him.
Yeah, he'll make his money up in that ticket sales.
I kind of feel bad for Chris Rock because he's talked about himself like he's not really been full blown diagnosed, but there's been like some discussion that he might have Asperger's.
Huh.
So like for him to process what's happened, it'd probably take a little extra time and
Maybe.
might add some complexity to it.
Got the Aspies.
He says he can like socialize and communicate pretty well, but it's the nonverbal communication that gets lost on him.
So now Will.
And that was nonverbal
You
communication.
didn't see that slap coming. Are you angry with me?
Hey, he's coming up here to hug me. He really liked it.
Now that Will Smith is going to be in hot water for beating up a guy with Asperger's. Like, how dare you?
No more Aspie hate.
You're anti-ass. That would be funny if like Chris Rock was like, I didn't recognize the slap. I was really confused.
That is a love tap.
Oh, man. Well, we're almost at time. Do you got maybe a short story to go out on?
So this is about the war. Russian troops suffer acute radiation sickness after digging Chernobyl trenches. Like, I don't even understand why they decided they needed to be in Chernobyl. Like, what's going on? So they go in there and they're like digging trenches in the forest and shit. And a bunch of them are getting like radiation sickness. So yeah, they start getting sick and they start, basically abandoning post or whatever and taking off. So yeah, there's reports of these buses coming out of there. But here's a paragraph that caught me. Local reports suggest that 7 buses with ZAP troops arrived in Gomel early Thursday. But here's the kicker. Journalists on the ground have also reported ghost buses full of dead soldiers being transported from Belarus to Russia in the dark.
Yeah, I heard they're having heavy casualties.
Well, this sounds like probably people just died of radiation.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, why are they digging the trenches? But number two, like, it surprises me that the radiation would still be that strong.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's like that. The particular area that said is one of the worst. Like,
Where
I
is
don't know why the
Chernobyl?
fuck
Is that
they're
in
there.
Ukraine or is that in
Yeah,
Russia?
it's in Ukraine.
Oh, it's in...
So they took it. Like, I don't know why,
Yeah. What's the benefit of having that area?
but apparently they were planning on holding it. Just
Yeah,
getting
Russian
safe.
military is wild. I don't understand them.
Yeah, I don't. That wouldn't have been my first target.
They're going to lose land after this war. They're going to lose land to the Japanese, who they have issues with. They're going to lose land to the Chinese, because everybody's going to figure out that these guys can't win a war. So now you can just take whatever disputes you have with them and be like, yeah, no, that's our land. We're going to take it back now.
Did you guys see that video that was online last month? There's like this crazy redneck Texan guy who's like pro-Russian.
Oh, he went over there?
And he went over there and he made this video where he's like showing the Russian tanks in the background, and he's like, yeah, we're going to go liberate the Ukrainians, and this is only like 20% of the Russian army.
He's like telling all the stuff.
Yeah, like I'm like, how did this guy get to here, and what the fuck?
They accepted him? That's so weird. They're like, yeah, this guy from Texas can fight for us. He can do a documentary
I
about
doubt
us.
that guy's fighting anybody, but the fact that they're like even entertaining him being there seems weird.
I think they're trying to get the Republicans like on their side. I think because like there's recently been a propaganda by the Russians who are like trying to say like, oh, you know, we want a more Russia-friendly government, you know, and they're saying they're trying to support Trump for the next election. So it sounds like that's what, you know, that's their plan, that's their move.
Man, on the Trump thing,
He's going to be
I hate it,
president
but
again.
I almost feel like he probably is going to be president again.
Oh yeah, yeah, I definitely
It's-
think he could be. He will be.
Like, I hate Democrats, but it's such a travesty.
Both sides are shit, man. I think they're both colluding. I think it's just there is no government. It's just those people run everything.
They're all playing the game and getting money from their outside sources and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, they just did some polls, and like, yeah, the Democrats in these midterms are going to get creamed.
shit. Yeah. Well, the whole economy shit's going against them. And then you had the COVID shit and people were all pissed off about, and businesses went under. And now you got the gas. It's going to be...
And a lot of those problems would
Right.
still be there even with Republicans in charge. But that's the
It's-
thing
it's
is
not
people
good
are
timing.
people are just continually upset. So like they go against whoever happens to be in power, and it just goes back and forth. But the problem is just what you said. They're all bought and paid for shitheads, and so yeah.
Well, I mean, usually whoever has a presidency, almost always they lose seats at the midterms anyway. But
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a shit show, and then Trump's going to come walking back in 2024 and have the House and the Senate.
I mean that. Let me see. That could be really bad news
That
for
could be
Ukraine.
It could be bad for a lot of things.
But I mean, last time when he was in office, he was like telling Ukraine like, we're not going to support you, give you weapons and this and that unless you look into Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
So like, if he tries that again, then Ukraine's screwed, man.
I mean, that's pretty much been blown open. I feel like.
No, I mean like, but he, I think his motivation is just to cut aid to Ukraine.
Yeah.
You know, every day on Twitter, there's people, you know, tweeting about how, oh, here's another example of how Trump, blatantly broke the law. And like, we're going to arrest him. And I'm like, it's never going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
All these, like,
It's not even like close to happening.
Yeah.
there's like, oh, we got him on 10,000 different things red-handed. Yeah, let's see how those work out.
Yeah.
They don't do shit.
Yeah. It's always just to get the news. I don't even pay attention to it anymore. I'm like, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, it's just noise because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's going to lead to absolutely nothing except probably him becoming president again.
Yeah.
But even like,
I'm really hoping they both die before the next election.
I mean, on the Democratic side, like, there's not even, like,
No one to get excited about.
nobody.
Bernie's the only one that I liked, but
Yeah, me too.
Dyson.
But he's like old as shit too.
yeah,
I mean,
He
I'd
had a heart
vote.
attack
I'd
last
vote for him again
I would. Yeah,
over Biden.
yeah, in a heartbeat.
But Jesus Christ, you know, it just amazes me. Like, there's not one like progressive out there who's like younger and charismatic. You know, I feel like we need somebody who has the charisma of Trump, but is a progressive, not a shithead. You know, but like,
It's not going to be very long before we see a very powerful populist leader. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's coming.
but why can't a populist leader? I mean, by definition, does a populist leader like have to be far right or far left? Can't they be? I don't know.
Not necessarily, but I'm betting they're going to be more socialistic.
I don't know. I think they might go the other route.
Yeah, I feel like populism goes the other way.
We'll see.
I mean,
But the next one is probably the Republican.
yeah, I think you're right. Even if it's not Trump, I think it's going to be a Republican. But then again, like, that's the other thing.
I mean,
most
you
of
got
the
2
other,
more years after midterms. Maybe
most of the other Republicans, people don't like either. Like compared to Trump, I mean.
Yeah, anybody who tries to oppose him just gets taken down.
Yeah.
I mean, in our lifetime, there hasn't been like a single term Democrat, has there? Bush was
A Republican.
in a single term, and so far Trump's been a single term.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not in our lifetime, but Carter was a single term, wasn't he?
He might have been.
I think Lyndon Johnson was too.
I'm not sure. Is that counting like one full term and like one?
I thought he was just a one-term president. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, in our lifetime, you know, Bill Clinton had to, Obama had to, but yeah, I don't think Biden has a good chance of making two, but
No.
we'll see.
Is he even planning on running again?
At one point, he said that he was going to do one term, but I think that was maybe before he ran.
The thing is, the
I would think
incumbent,
he'd
the
run again.
the incumbent always has an advantage. So, like, as long as he's relatively healthy, I think the DNC will try to push him to run again.
I don't know why they let him ever do anything other than a teleprompter. Because the shit that comes out of his mouth,
But then you
So
don't get
fucking
stories
weird.
about corn pop.
I know. That's a classic.
Yeah, Joe Biden's. I mean, you can't have such old.
Can you imagine
people,
like a list of like presidential quotes and you get to Joe Biden talking about corn pop?
I mean, Trump has a lot of good quotes.
No,
can't-
Trump has said so much crazy.
Trump's the quote.
Kofefe or whatever.
Yeah, he's got some great quotes attributed to him.
I don't know, man. These guys are too old to be president. But Bernie's old. I like him. I don't know. I just don't like them, I guess.
Well, should we wrap this up before we get too political?
Yeah, that's deep enough.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Everyone who listened and watched this week, we do appreciate it very, very much. Please tell all your friends about us. Please subscribe both to the YouTube channel and on your podcast service of choice. Leave us thumbs up, positive reviews, comments, all that great, great stuff. And why not, just for the hell of it, follow us on social media, specifically Twitter. Guys, where can people find you on Twitter?
I am at a name for this too, and that's number 2.
At unsolicited SUG.
And you can, of course, find me at Zach Jones Live, ZachJonesLive. And that is going to do it for all of our shenanigans and poppycock this week. Please, please, please tune in again next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Have a good one.